If you're watching this video, you're probably wanting to solder something around the house. In that case, you're going to need the right type of copper. You need type M copper, which is residential, and the manufacturer will have their information stamped on the pipe in red. Once you figure out what you want to solder, make sure you grab the right fittings. Today we'll just be doing a 1/2 inch coupling on a 1/2 inch copper pipe. There are two types of flux. There's a traditional soldering paste. You'll need a brush to apply that to the copper. And then there's a liquid S39. Since we're soldering potable water, you will need Silpure solder. It's a 95.5 lead-free solder. You can also get lead solder, which you would use for DWV, for drainage only. So today we're just using the 95.5. You're going to need a pipe reamer to ream the copper. If you don't have one, you can still complete the soldering job without it. It's just good practice to ream your copper prior to soldering it. You will need sand cloth to sand the copper. You will need a pipe cutter of your choice to cut the copper. The correct size wire brush for the size of copper. Today we're doing 1/2 inch. You will need some sort of fuel source. I use MAP gas, comes in the yellow container. Just burns hotter than propane and decreases the time to solder. The blue tank is propane. If you don't have that, you can also use your traditional camp stove camping propane. Today we'll be using the turbo torch. It's got a flint and a built-in igniter, the trigger. That torch is quite pricey, so if you don't have one, you don't necessarily need one. You can just buy the basic torch, and then you'll need a lighter or striker or match, some sort of fire source to light the basic torch. If you're soldering in a tight space with combustibles like a joist space, you can pick up this cloth. It is a fire resistant cloth, so you can put that between your copper and the wood. You'll also need a rag. Make sure you can clean the joint after you've soldered it. You can also put it under the joint you're soldering so solder will drip onto it and not drip onto something that you do not want wrecked. Last but not least, make sure you have the proper PPE on. Safety glasses for sure. You don't want to get any flux or any solder dripping into your eye, depending on where you're soldering. I recommend gloves and long sleeve clothing. You don't want any hot solder dripping onto your skin. It'll definitely burn you. First thing you want to do is ream the inside of your copper pipe. After that, you want to sand your pipe and wire brush your coupling. Next, you want to apply flux to your copper pipe. Flux the inside of your coupling. Apply your coupling onto your pipe. We used the flux paste on the left side of the coupling. Now we're going to use the liquid flux on the right side. I almost always use the liquid flux. It's easier to apply. It even cleans the pipe. It also doesn't smoke like the paste flux does when heated. Bad points, it costs more than the paste. If you spill it, it'll all leak out. If you flux something above your head, you increase the risk of it dripping down onto you, and you definitely don't want to get this stuff in your eyes. Take your other pipe, insert it into the coupling. Start by heating the bottom of the coupling. You can then work your way around. Copper is a great conductor of heat. Heat one spot and eventually the rest will be hotter. You do want to move it around though, it'll speed up the process. all there is to it. Now you notice is once the coupling, the pipe was hot enough, you can literally touch one spot on the coupling and this solder will follow the flux, fill the whole coupling. Once the pipe is cooled, then you can take your rag and wipe off all the excess flux. This black matter right here. It's looking good. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Any other videos you want to see, let me know. I can do other plumbing videos. Thanks for watching, everyone.